Pretty woman, walking down. You know that song, Roy Orbison. It's also a hit movie from 1990, done by Gary Marshall, starring Julia Roberts and Richard Gere. But now it's at the Bushnell. Pretty Woman, the musical. Adam, Pascal, and Olivia Valli are in the national tour. We say hello to Adam Pascal right now. Good morning to you.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
Playing the role of Vivian. No, that's not right. He's playing Edward Lewis.
I'm too old for that.
Nice to have you aboard. Welcome to Hartford. Did you know that you were in Hartford right now, being that you're always on tour and you never know which end is up, or did I have to remind you?
Well, a little of both.
Okay.
It is hard to keep track sometimes, and what's even harder to keep track is that this is my third national tour that I've done.
Yeah.
And I can't remember what cities I've been in and what cities I haven't been in, and I when you go to different theaters, when you tour, a lot of times you sign your name on the wall in the theaters, and so I walk around these theaters and I look for my name somewhere.
It's almost like your own version of a word search when you think about it.
Exactly.
Edward, everyone knows the show. The movie was a huge hit. Edward Lewis, the multimillionaire, falls in love with Vivian Ward, a free-spirited prostitute that he hires as a companion for a couple of days. She melts his heart a little bit. He's a little cold. She thaws it out, and they fall in love. Is that pretty much, when you take a movie like that and you put it on Broadway, you got to do some changes, right?
Well, yes and no. I mean, look, it's in our particular version of this adaptation of this movie. I can't speak for the way all shows get adapted, but they wanted to stay very true to what people remember from the film. So it is a very true version of what you've seen on screen. There are some changes, and of course, the biggest changes is the story is now being told largely through music.
Yeah.
Great score by Brian.
And right, and let's talk about that, because when I was getting ready for this interview, I said, you know what? I remember having the soundtrack, and the soundtrack was a huge hit as well. Roxette's "It Must Have Been Love" is on there, lots of other songs. But the score for this has been done by another 90s rocker who's still around, Bryan Adams.
Yeah, indeed, and he wrote this incredible score, and it's really beautiful. All of those songs from the original movie are not in our version. We have a completely original score. Sure. However, we do give you "Pretty Woman" the song. We couldn't not.
No. You cannot have a show called Pretty Woman and not sing the Roy Orbison classic. Let's talk about you for a second. You've got the male lead in this show. You are no stranger to Broadway. You were in the original cast of Rent. You said this was your third tour. I was happy to read. I saw you when you were here a couple of years ago, pre-COVID. You were in the show, which was hysterical, Something Rotten, where you stole the show as William Shakespeare. Now, how does an actor feel between pre-COVID and sort of, getting over the pandemic? How are the audiences the same? How are they different? And what's your vibe these days?
Well, I've been so pleasantly surprised to see the audiences showing up en masse, and coming out to enjoy live theater, and the responses have been phenomenal. I mean, I think people. Look, all of our lives have been so upended in such a dramatic way, and that, all of these little things, going back to theater, going to restaurants, going to movies, whatever it was that we did, these little pieces of normalcy are what we are all craving and have been all craving so much. And so it's so amazing to go back into a theater and to see people there. The differences are masks. The audiences are, for the most part, masked, but that's the only difference. People are there. They're having a good time. They're up on their feet at the end of the show. They're laughing. They're clapping. They're all the things that, as an actor, you want from your audience.
There you
go. So, I couldn't be happier, and I couldn't be more grateful to have this job coming out of the pandemic, where we didn't know if our industry was even going to continue to survive.
Right, absolutely. For those of us who support Broadway and the theater and the arts, it's nice to see that you're back. We talked about you. We gave you your due. The woman playing Vivian, we mentioned at the beginning, is Olivia Valli.
Yes.
The granddaughter of Frankie Valli. Is that intimidating?
No. No, no, I've been doing this for 27 years. I've worked with people all over the world. No, quite frankly, it's not really relevant to what she does on stage. I mean, the woman is so incredibly talented and wonderful and beautiful and funny, and we have the best relationship. And so, I'm so grateful to have her as my partner in this show. I mean, I think she makes this show as far as I'm concerned.
I'm just surprised that they haven't created an all-female version of Jersey Boys, Jersey Girls. That would be perfect for her.
You know what? You're absolutely right. And she was in Jersey Boys. She
played one of the girls.
She was in the show, yeah.
With one of the that had 28 roles in it. They kept the three women play the same thing.
And here's the most interesting thing, I find it the most interesting, is she was in the movie and she played her own grandmother in the movie.
Oh, that's very cool. That's full circle. Very cool. The show, Pretty Woman the Musical, is at the Bushnell through this weekend. Tickets are available. We'll link you to that on our website, fox61.com. Go see this guy. I mean, he says 27 years on the stage. I'm calling a hokum on that because he sure doesn't look that old. Adam Pascal, continued success. Break a leg tonight here in Hartford.
Thank you so much. Thanks for having me.
All right.